Welcome to the Blend Talk. Ladies, addressing your mind, body, and spirit. Your spirit. All in an effort to make you whole. Coming together to heal your soul. Welcome to the Blend Talk. Ladies, addressing your mind, body, and spirit. Your spirit. All in an effort to make you whole. Make it whole. Coming together to heal your soul. It's time for the Blend Talk.
Welcome to the Blend.
Welcome to the Blend Talk. Ladies, addressing your mind, body, and spirit. Your spirit. All in an effort to make you whole. Coming together to heal your soul. Welcome to the Blend Talk.
Isn't this exciting, ladies? Yes. And welcome, everyone, and welcome to The Blend. I'm Dr. Gloria Chance, and I'm a humanistic psychologist and an imaginist. And I help you change your negative patterns by shifting your imagination through creative art techniques. I help you imagine new opportunities, create new probabilities so that you can soar to your highest possibility.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. P. Samadi. I'm a clinical psychologist and I focus on anxiety, depression, and trauma in the African American community. I also look at the impact of social media on our mental health.
Greetings, I'm Dr. Tabitha Carr, naturopathic doctor and author, specializing in women's health, specifically women's hormonal health. I educate women so they feel better, so they look better, and so they have more energy.
Oh, I love it. Blessings, everyone. I'm Jewel Diamond Taylor, also known as the Self-Esteem Doctor. I'm a motivational speaker, spiritual teacher, author, life coach, founder of Women on the Grow, and I am so excited to be here today to help you get better and better and better with your emotional and spiritual well-being.
Oh, yes, all right. So are you all ready to transform your life? Well, welcome to The Blend, where new generations of empowered women of every age are joining a whole health movement to change their world.
Wow. We are a talk show for women, by women, uplifting Black women and women of color all around the globe. We want to help you be your best. So gear up for your mind, your body, and spirit. A journey like none other before. The sky is the limit.
Absolutely.
This is The Blend.
Yes, isn't it exciting to have this opportunity to share valuable information about wellness and health?
Right, you know, women are thirsty for this information. They're thirsty for this knowledge. You know, it takes me back to when I was 16 years old and when I was first put on my first blood pressure pill.
Wow.
And by the age of 30, I was on 3 different blood pressure pills. And it really affected my health.
Wow.
And if I had shows like this educating me, I don't think I would have the same health problems that I had.
At 16 years old. This conversation is so critical to our viewers. There are women like myself that are overcoming the loss of a child, women going through divorce, women dealing with breast cancer, unemployment, homelessness, dysfunctional families, and I'm so proud that we're going to be bringing solutions.
Absolutely. And I just think it's so incredible that we are 4 Black women talking about these issues, physical health, mental health, like where do they do that at, right? But I also love how inclusive we are. We are talking about the mind, we are talking about the body, the spirit, all of who we are. We literally are the blend.
Absolutely. And you know, when you think about our ancestry and where we come from, you know, there's an African proverb that says, because the blend is about the village. And it says that if the children do not embrace if they're not embraced by the village, that they will burn it down to feel the heat, to feel the heat. And you know, on this show, what's exciting is that we are gonna burn the village down with our topic today on stress, anxiety, and depression, because it impacts all of us in one way or the other.
Life is so hectic.
And you know, and now, speaking of being hectic, we all know as women that we do too much.
We do.
And it's so important for us to look into the mirror, because a lot of times the mirror will show us and give us a glimpse into what we really look like. And so let's take a moment to see how we all show up in our hectic lives, possibly.
All right.
So that was amazing watching that. I mean, I saw myself in that video.
Yeah, you know, and that montage reminded me of, you know, when, you know, my experience when I was really in a hectic place. You know, I 12 years ago was a corporate executive, and, you know, I had the life that everybody thought, oh, how amazing, you know, the money, the everything that people think, and yet I just got off the bus because there was something inside of me, and the main thing was bravery that said, you know what, I want to do something different with my life. Even though this looks fabulous, it's exhausting. And, you know, look at me today.
Well, good for you. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to do that, you know. You have to put yourself first. It's all about self-care and taking care of you.
Self-care is so important. We need to make time for that massage, that retreat. Take a nap. You know, so often we have this S on our chest. We're superwoman. You know what? I am not every woman. And sometimes I need to learn how to say no. And no is a complete sentence.
It absolutely is.
Yes.
And I know when I watched that video, I definitely saw myself in it. I mean, did you guys? Yeah, I definitely saw myself. But I also thought, you know, it is no surprise that our community is struggling with anxiety and depression. Yes, anxiety is the most common mental health disorder in the United States, but Black women are experiencing it more chronically, their symptoms more intensely, and depression, they're reporting that at greater rates. So we have to be talking about this.
Absolutely, and you know, sometimes it just takes us being able to reach out and support each other. And a lot of times we're afraid to do that because we don't trust each other. And so, you know, it would be great to have someone say, hey, you know, Gloria, that car is really nice or whatever, but how you really doing? Like, you seem like you got a lot going on.
And actually stick around to listen.
Exactly.
This reminds me of a time back when I was 30, when I was turning 30, and I started having stress.
Wasn't that long ago, was it?
No, it wasn't that long ago. I was having stress and panic attacks and anxiety, and because of it, I was dehydrated, I wasn't eating, and I ended up in the hospital. So it affects us.
When you talk about stress, anxiety, and depression, why I coach so many women, I'm finding because of the time we're living in, a lot of us are really overwhelmed, concerned, and living in fear as we look at the news. Our sons, our daughters are being arrested and killed, and there's so much racial tension, which can be a source for our stress, our anxiety.
You know, it manifests in our body. Stress manifests in our body.
Dr. T, you would know.
You know, and you remind me of a study I read at the, you know, the University of Toronto, that said that in about 10 or 15 years that over 50% of women will have diabetes as a result of stress.
Absolutely. You know, stress affects, you know, anxiety, depression, and when we're going through stress, there's warning signs going on in our bodies, you know, rapid heart rate, heart palpitations, muscle tension, elevated blood pressure, and these are all warning signs. But soon, if we don't get control of the stress, then it's going to turn into the diagnosis of diabetes or the diagnosis of hypertension.
You know, you're talking about these signs, and I want to go back to what Jewel was saying about thinking that we're superhuman or that we're superwoman. Yeah, this is a phrase that's actually in the research, the superwoman syndrome or the superwoman schema, this idea that as Black women, we can and should be able to do it all without breaking. And yes, we're strong, and that's admirable, but we can't be so strong that we don't ask for help when we need help. We don't say I'm hurting, right?
And you know, there's a great example with celebrity women that we can all follow. You know, like Michelle Williams, who admitted her depression, and Alicia Keys, who they were like, I need to get off the bus. I need to take a break because this is too much. Life can be too much sometimes.
You know, the average woman thinks, well, she's got a man, she's got the bling bling, she's got the money, she's got the fame. Why shouldn't she be happy? But when we're understanding the importance of looking at the soul,
Exactly.
And we have to recognize energy robbers.
Exactly.
Energy robbers can be a person, it can be a place, it can be a thing. It's draining. And sometimes we have to remove that.
We need to know what the triggers are.
We absolutely have to remove it. My mom actually calls it emotional vampires.
Well, this is good. The conversation is getting really good. But stay with us. Up next on The Blend is a special guest who knows all about our mental health. Are you anxious or nervous, stressed, depressed? She has some answers you will not want to miss. This is The Blend, folks. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Coming up, Dr. Angela Neal Barnett, Director of the Program for Research on Anxiety Disorders among African Americans at Kent State University, shares secrets for lasting mental health. Stay close. We'll return in a moment.
It's time for The Blend. It's time for The Blend.
Welcome back back to The Blend. We have here now Dr. Angela Neal Barnett with us. She's a national award-winning psychologist, professor, and leading expert on mental health issues facing African Americans. Her book, Soothe Your Nerves, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding and Overcoming Anxiety, Panic, and Fear, is on bookshelves now. Please help me welcome Dr. Barnett.
Pleasure to be here. Dr. Angela, thank you so much for being here and welcome to The Blend.
Thank you.
You know, I was so drawn to the title of your book, Soothe Your Soul. And the reason I enjoyed it is because many of us don't believe that we have problems. And so we would probably never pick up a book that said, help for anxiety and stress, right? Because we don't really understand that, but we all know that knowledge is power. So tell us, how did you come up with the title of this book?
Well, first of all, I didn't know anybody in the Black community who actually would admit to being anxious. But everybody had nerves. They had bad nerves. They were down to their last good nerve. And so it just seemed natural to call the book Soothe Your Nerves.
I love that. That's a perfect title.
This is great. I've been reading through this book, and I have a question for you. Being a naturopathic doctor, I have a lot of clients that come to me, and they're wanting to get off of their medication. And a couple of sentences you wrote in the book. The first one is, medication prepares you for the process of overcoming, that keyword overcoming, anxiety, and rather than learning to master your panic, you learn to let the medication do all the work. What advice would you give to someone that's trying to get off the medication?
Yes, please.
That's a good question.
Well, first of all, you cannot wean yourself off of the medication without being under the supervision of either your doctor or your psychiatrist. People make the mistake of just quitting the medication. And particularly for African Americans, there's a type of medication that we tend to get prescribed that if we just stop taking it, we have horrible rebound effects. So the anxiety comes back fiercer than it was before you started taking the medication.
Yes, and that's not
very
good.
good advice. I love the fact that you incorporated the fact that we need to integrate our faith with therapy. So many times I hear women that are in the church and they feel that's the only place of solace. And many times they're told that they have a bad spirit or they're not praying hard enough. And so I love the fact that we are encouraging women to seek other alternatives. Not that we're forsaking God, but we need to integrate.
No, I'm a church girl.
Come on.
And so,
Amen.
And so one of the things that I know is that faith without works is dead.
Amen.
Oh, she's
gotta
preaching.
work.
She's
Yeah.
preaching
You
now,
gotta
y'all.
work.
Sit
You gotta do work.
That's right.
And that if we are going to overcome our anxiety, we really do have to do the work via therapy along with the prayer.
That part. You know, as a fellow clinical psychologist, I love how psychoeducational this book is. You talk about the different reasons we develop anxiety. You also go into the different forms of anxiety, which I don't think people are always aware of. Can you flesh that out for our viewers?
Sure. The most common type of anxiety is panic attacks, and there are 3 types of panic attacks.
Been there. Been there.
And sometimes I've had a panic attack. And the type of panic attack that most of us have had is all of a sudden, out of the blue, for no reason at all, we just feel really, really anxious. And that's called unexpected. The second type of panic attack is because we see something that we are afraid of. So we're afraid of dogs, cats, heights, those types of things. So if we have to approach that, or we have a panic attack. And the third type of panic attack is one that we don't talk about a lot, and it's called isolated sleep paralysis. And Dr. Peace knows psychologists like big words.
Oh yeah, we love it. You know. We can break it down today.
Isolated sleep paralysis is you were raised in the South, or you were raised by people who were raised in the South. You hear them talking about witch riding, or that a hate got a hold of them. And basically what happens is, just as you're falling asleep, or just as you're waking up, you feel as if you can't move. And of course, you panic. And so most panic attacks occur at night.
So good to know.
Absolutely. And you know, Dr. Barnett, one of the things that you did a really great job in the book is talking about therapy and therapy, you know, solutions. And while the clinical psychology totally 1000% important, Eastern medicine and Eastern psychology focuses more on self-healing and using things like meditation, hypnotherapy, etc. You mentioned music in your book. What other alternative things do you suggest to people around, you know, getting help, soothing themselves?
Well, we certainly know that the Eastern techniques, mindfulness, meditation, work. We also know that the tried and true Black things work, and that's music.
Music for the song.
So one of the things that we teach people to do is to build their own theme song. And so we take the words of the words to their favorite song, rewrite it as it relates to overcoming anxiety and fear. And then when they begin to feel anxious, because once the physical part stops, it's your mind, those thoughts that keeps you anxious. And so that music, your song, pushes out those negative thoughts and replaces them with positive, affirming thoughts, allowing you to begin to do the things to overcome the anxiety.
I think that's why we call it soul music.
Yes.
It's so good for our
mind
soul.
over body.
You know? And I noticed on the back of the book that you are the CEO of Rise, Sally, Rise.
Indeed.
So I think about that song that we grew up on, but there are some women that are like, I can't rise. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm stressed, I can't think clearly, I don't have no money, I don't have a man, I don't have a job. It's like, I can't rise. I just buried my mama. So how do we get women to rise?
Because we go back to the song. And if you remember, remember playing the game, she's in the saucer, but there's this whole circle of women urging her, supporting her, lifting up, and telling her to rise, Sally, rise.
I totally believe that.
And so what we find works, again, tried and true things that we have done for centuries are these sister circles.
That's right.
Because you are not alone. And when you have the support of your sisters, all you can do is love yourself.
There is nothing like that for sure.
I love that there are so many ways that we can heal. We've listed so many of them. Now, for those who may be looking to get into traditional therapy, when would you suggest is the time to consider that as an option?
That's a good question.
Well, when the anxiety is impeding your life, when it is stopping you from doing the things that you want to do, when it is stopping you, and Joel, you know this, from doing the things that you were meant to do.
And this is such rich, substantive information that we're getting. We'd like to offer you now some takeaways. There are many options, but if you are feeling shy, there's some online and over the phone type therapy options for you. You can blend therapy and faith.
Absolutely.
Ask your potential therapist questions to see if there's a good fit for you. Now, up next, we're going to learn how African American food came to be, the history. So stay tuned. We are The Blend.
Coming up, we go back to the kitchen for a history of soul food. Take your seat at the table for food for thought. Chef Charlotte Franklin joins us next.
It's time for the blend. It's time for the blend.
So we are stirring it up at The Blend, and today we have a real treat for you. If you ever think about why you may crave certain foods, well, we're getting to the roots of it because I'm here with Chef Charla to hash out how your diet can affect your mood as much as it impacts your physical health. We are what we eat, right, Charlotte?
We are what we eat.
I love it. So tell us about the history of soul food.
The history of soul food comes from the soul of African American people who had to find a way to supplement their diet to meet all their needs. And that's how it came about. Yams were originally grown to feed livestock. To feed livestock. That was the original purpose.
Okay.
And one of us put our hands on those yams.
Yes.
And made magic.
Brought them to the table. And now it's a part of American tradition, right? It's a part of American tradition now.
My
And so that's
favorite
just
one
an
that I
example.
could eat every single day is collard greens.
And you should eat collard greens.
I should?
You should eat them every
Okay.
day. Collard greens is the only plant known thus far that is has everything you need. It has every mineral, every vitamin, every nutrient, everything you need is in collard. Everything. It has more vitamin C than oranges or milk.
What?
Yes.
Even when you cook them for hours?
It doesn't matter. You can eat them. You can shred them and eat them raw. You can cook them. It doesn't matter how long you cook them. It all holds.
What's the history of collard greens?
The history of collard greens? There was a woman named Mathilde, and she realized that greens needed to be a green vegetable needed to be included in the diet.
Okay.
So a natural gardener, she went out into the fields, into the woods. She picked, she smelled, she sniffed. She came across collard greens. It connected with all her senses. She said, "This is it." She brought them back. She boiled them down with some pig feet.
Okay. Dr. T's gonna get it.
That's what was available. Some pig feet, some bay leaves, some boiled them down. They smelled so good. And someone said to her, what do you call them? And she said, "I call them colored greens." Right?
Colored greens.
Colored greens.
For colored people,
for colored
or that's
people.
the color of
No,
it?
for colored people.
So if you look at the mind and soul food, how do you envision like the smell? When you think about soul food, I mean, it's so rich in aroma. And how do we create an experience where from a stress, a de-stressing situation where the aroma mixed with, you know, the focus of chopping that distracts your mind and all of those things. And how do you think about
I'm
that?
going to go to desserts because we talked about collard greens.
Yes, let's go to dessert.
Peach cobbler.
Yes.
It is the easiest home dessert to make from scratch. It is the easiest dessert to make from scratch. You peel your peaches. You can buy them already. Cinnamon, nutmeg. Today, you can put any sugar that you want.
Yes.
You can put date sugar, coconut sugar,
many
agave syrup.
options,
So you can change the sugar. Once you change the sugar, we're moving into healthy. The crust can now be wheat crust. It can be a vegan crust. You can make your crust
like
homemade.
that. Okay.
You and your man can get in the kitchen together and roll that dough.
Get some
Roll
music
it out.
going,
Roll
music
it out.
therapy.
That's right.
Yes.
The whole house will be scented in 15, 20
Yeah.
minutes. Right? Out comes the hot cobbler.
But not only, Charlotte, are you a historian, but you are, I understand, the 5th generation of chefs.
Five generations.
It's just in your blood.
On both sides of the family.
On both sides.
5 generations. My mother was one of those down-home cooks where she could just look in the refrigerator and put something together. And unfortunately, she didn't make it again because it was only
Right.
one miracle. You didn't write it down. My father's been elevating soul food before the term came out. He was
This
putting
is amazing.
duck in greens.
Wow.
Right?
There's
Yeah.
so much
Making
we
his
can
own
learn
sausage.
from you, Charlotte. We're
Yes.
so grateful that you're here today.
That's right.
It's in the book, it really is. My email address is in the book. You can email me, you can ask me questions, tell you more.
Love it.
Thank you very much.
Next, our mental health journey continues with a treatment for depression that both the medical and naturopathic communities agree upon. It's shown in clinical studies to be as effective as antidepressants in reducing the symptoms of mild to moderate depression. Do you know what it is? Well, the answer will come when we return with the blend.
Coming up, celebrity fitness instructor Dawn Strozier has stress-busting exercises designed to keep putting the pep in your step. Hang in there, blenders. We'll be right back.
It's time for the blend. It's time for the blend.
Welcome back. You are in the Blend Body. We're here with our resident fitness expert, Dawn Strozier, to claim our total health from the inside out. Let's give it up for Dawn. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Now, if you're experiencing stress, exercise is the best thing you can do. So I have 4 great exercises to help you relieve yourself of stress and to build the body that you desire. Ladies, are you ready?
We're ready.
Starting with the low impact jumping jacks. Here we go. 1, pulling your belly button into your spine. Now, this is a cardiovascular exercise simply designed to raise that heart rate and get your body up into fat burning mode. 1 more.
10.
Good job. The next exercise, yes. We're going to take our feet shoulder apart, pull our belly button into our spine, lift our chest up. We're going to sit back into our heels as if we were sitting in a chair. This is a squat.
Yeah.
One
That
more.
bottom.
Okay, now you feel that. This is actually a
feel it.
body weight exercise. So you're using your body weight to create the lean muscle in your quads and your glutes. Pretty powerful. One more.
Yes, and this burn is helping
Now-
to relieve stress.
Oh,
also.
absolutely. But listen, one of the biggest conceptions is that women don't need to lift weights. And that's actually not true. I need you to lift weights.
Right.
Lifting weights allows you to build lean muscle that helps you keep the weight off. And it's a great way to relieve yourself of stress.
Right.
Did you get that?
Absolutely,
I
for
got it. I
sure.
got it.
Okay.
Yes.
So our next exercise, high knees.
Okay.
And lifting our right knee up into our chest and alternating. I want you to lean forward just a little bit. Did you feel those abs engage?
Oh, I can feel that
Feel
core.
that? Ah.
Yes.
And, you know, also breathing in and out helps you to reduce stress because it soothes your mind, getting
Absolutely.
oxygen in.
And you want to breathe in and out on the hardest part of the exercise. And that will be on the lift. This is a cardiovascular
16.
exercise as well. She's counting.
17.
Making sure we don't go over.
18.
We're already over.
One more.
Yes, I felt that.
That was awesome. The next exercise is an upper body exercise, another weight bearing exercise. And we're going to do push-ups.
I'm already starting to sweat, Dawn.
Do it.
Okay.
All right. All right, ladies. I want you to do low impact. So there you go, in a plank position on your knees. Making sure, one moment, making sure your wrists and shoulders are in line. Now I want you to lower your entire body as one move, all the way down to the ground and back up.
One.
And all your body down, entire body down. Last one.
3.
Great job.
Yes.
There you have it.
really
good.
feel that
Four
burn, yes.
basic great exercises. Now, as basic as those exercises may seem, depending on the amount of stress you're under, you can raise your level of intensity simply by adding a jump. So you'll go from the low impact jumping jacks to a high.
Yeah,
Low
we're
impact,
watching
high knee,
Yeah,
low
we'll keep
impact,
the low impact.
low knees to a high.
that. Wow.
Wow.
Low impact squats to a squat jump. And that depends on the level of stress you're under. Raise your intensity.
Oh, that is amazing. I am totally de-stressed right now.
Yeah.
What about you?
I really am, and I feel like exercising
Yes.
was really the key to me maintaining my weight.
Awesome. How much weight have you lost?
80 pounds.
Oh, you look amazing. Yes.
Give me some.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, here are a few takeaways. Don't think an hour, think 30 minutes. Think in 30-minute workouts, but go hard for those 30 minutes. Make time to work out every single day. And remember to breathe. I'm feeling these endorphins coming.
Yes.
Let's keep it rolling. When we return, we will have a chill pill so relaxing, it might take your breath away.
Yes.
We're back in a moment with the blend.
Coming up, a breath of fresh air with Jewel, who will be guiding a meditative moment. Sit back and relax. You're in the mix.
It's time for the blend. It's time for the blend.
For all of us waiting to exhale from Dawn's workout, we're going to catch our breath and we're going to do our inhale, exhale moment. I think breathing is so important to our well-being. In fact, when you look at the origin of the word breath, it means spirit. And as a diaspora, we have many different walks, many spiritual walks. Not everyone is a Christian. We talk about our deities and our exercises, and all of them seem to end with the ah, which is the sound of the breath. Ah. So we have Messiah, Allah, Jah, Hosanna, Hallelujah. Come on. In yoga, they say prana. The indigenous people say Orenda is the name of the creator. So we want to practice right now and invite the audience to breathe with me, because when you have a lot of stress, anxiety, and depression, it feels like the world is sitting on your chest and your breathing is very shallow. So it's important that we open up and learn to breathe, almost like blowing up a balloon. So what we're going to do is breathe through the left nostril. Inhale. Our shoulders should rise, and then exhale out the right nostril. Our shoulders should drop. One more time, audience, join me. Inhale. Exhale. That ah should be coming out, releasing all the stress, the worry, the grief, the disappointments, the pain. This is a wonderful spiritual, mental, and emotional exercise we should do daily. So when we're breathing, we're shifting our thinking. We talked a lot about the mind. When you're breathing differently, you begin to think differently. And what we can do is shift our thinking to gratitude, what we're thankful for. So I want to tell you what I'm thankful for, because I believe gratitude is a magnet that draws more blessings. So I'm very grateful for my first grandson, Cody, and I'm so grateful to be working with you ladies. Dr. Tabitha, what are you grateful for?
You know, I think this is a simple but powerful exercise, so I so appreciate this exercise. You know, I think practicing gratitude is something that we need to do on a daily basis.
Yes.
So let's not just do this one time, let's practice this every single day.
Yes.
But I'm grateful that I had a birthday this week.
Yes, you did.
Yes, our birthday girl.
Yes, and I'm also grateful for good health.
Yes.
I also really believe in the power of this exercise. I mean, so many studies look at the connection between gratitude and happiness. So really glad we're ending with this. This is perfect.
Yes.
But I'm grateful for my family and my friends. I have the most incredible support circle.
Wow.
And I'm grateful for the power of breath. Just as you were
Yes.
leading that exercise, I felt every negative thing just leave my body.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you. And I'm so grateful for small things. It's important to remember the small things, especially when they relate to your goals. So for example, this week I did not have that piece of cake. And I am so grateful for that, because my girlfriend over here had it
I am
for
grateful
me.
for that.
And also, you know, you train your mind whenever you have goals, and you continue to just take little pieces away. And then before you know it, voila, that goal has been met.
This is so awesome hearing examples of gratitude, because we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're going to experience stress at times. But you know what? We are so grateful for our audience, aren't we? We are grateful for them. And we want them to know that this show is not just about one dimension, it's about the whole being. So remember, we are spirit,
Body.
We're mind.
And we are the blend, everybody. Thank you so much.
So guess what? Everybody's going home today with a gift, the Blend package. And thanks to our wonderful sponsors, inside of your bag today will be the Napatus Organics Wonderful Snacks, Don Francisco's Coffee, and Kohana Cold Brew Coffee. Thank you so much for being here today. This is the Blend, and this is us hugging you.
Welcome to